Women in our village have to have their bones replaced when they turn 21. Otherwise, the original bones will slowly disappear, and they will become paralyzed and die as a pile of rotten flesh. My sister is still 10 days away from her 21st birthday, but she has not found a candidate for bone replacement. My father and I have been looking for bone sources for her outside. But I am studying in college and rarely have the opportunity to meet evil people who deserve the death penalty. 3 days ago, I had a quarrel with my sister about whether to give Songxing to my sister. Just because Songxing used a fake perfume worth 9.9 yuan to deceive me that it was a counterproduct worth 3,000 yuan, my sister asked me to take Songxing home and extract his bones. I didn't want to. It's understandable that poor college students have no money. Songxing's crime is not punishable by death. Our family has a principle not to harm innocent and kind people. In addition, this is my first time to fall in love, so it is inevitable that I feel reluctant to part with Songxing. Finally, my sister made a suggestion. I won't make it difficult for you. Let's make a bet. Whoever is willing to take the bait, how about it? After listening to her suggestion, I accepted the bet. This week, I was studying hard for the final exam. Songxing was concerned about my body and coaxed me to spend the night outside. After the lovemaking, I lay on the bed and played with my phone. According to the bet, I forwarded my sister's dancing video and added a sentence, "My sister is so beautiful." Songxing was smoking and browsing his phone beside me. Soon, I heard him open the video. After the BGM looped 5 times, Songxing turned the screen to me with an unbelievable look on his face. "Is this your sister?" After getting my affirmative answer, he swallowed his saliva. A trace of disappointment flashed in my eyes. "Do you regret it?" "She is prettier than me and has a better figure than me." I laughed at myself. "And she and I have had the same vision since we were young. If she had met you earlier than me, maybe she would be the one lying here now." When Songxing heard me say this, his throat became dry and his eyes became confused. I whispered in Songxing's ear again, "Besides, her body is much softer than mine." My body is very soft, and Songxing has been praising it after trying it. Every time he hugs me, he immediately becomes as fierce as a tiger. But compared with my sister, I am far behind. In the video, the tight dress outlines my sister's exquisite figure. The enchanting dance perfectly shows her slender waist. "Don't make trouble." Songxing pushed me away and pulled the quilt a little over to cover his lower body. When sleeping, Songxing hugged me from behind. He asked my sister indirectly if she had a boyfriend. I shook my head and said, since she broke up last year, she has not left the house and has been staying at home to heal her emotional injuries. After saying that, I found that Songxing's heartbeat became faster. "Jing, I have always wanted to go to your hometown to see the scenery of the mountain village. How about I go home with you this summer vacation?" The voice in my ear was warm, but my heart was getting colder. "Okay," I said calmly. After Songxing fell asleep, I took out my phone and sent a text message to my sister. "I'll admit defeat. Tell your parents that I've found someone to replace your bones." A week later, after taking the last exam, the school was on holiday. Songxing and I took the bus back to the village. When we arrived at the entrance of the village, the driver dropped Songxing and me off, and we walked into the village. Along the way, the villagers saw Songxing behind me, and they all smiled. They looked at Songxing from head to toe, and some couldn't help but compliment him. "Your height is suitable. Your proportions are correct. Xianxian is so lucky." I winked at the people who were talking, asking them to shut up. They said suitable height because bone replacement requires putting one person's bones into another person's flesh and blood. If the height difference is too large, the flesh and blood will be pulled and hurt for 3 days and 3 nights during the period of bone and flesh healing. Songxing is 172 centimeters tall, and my sister is 165 centimeters tall. The skin and flesh are only 7 centimeters long, so there is no pain. At this time, Songxing came close to me and whispered, Jing, who is Xian?" I panicked and explained quickly, "It's my sister. The uncle just now must have mistaken me for her." Seeing that Songxing didn't suspect anything, I cursed these people in my heart. I have to ask my dad to report them to the village chief. Suddenly, Songxing said out of the blue, Jin, why do I feel that your village is weird? My heart skipped a beat. I asked him, what's strange? Songxing said, besides the strange way they looked at me, there were 3 people standing at the door of the house we passed just now. They looked like a family, but not a family. We just passed by Wang Ping's family. I frowned and asked, what do you mean? Songxing said, they look like a family, but I estimate that the daughter is about 170 centimeters tall, but her father looks at most 1.6 meters tall, and her mother is even shorter, probably just over 150 centimeters. I felt a little nervous, because Songxing was talking about Wang Ping's family of 3. Wang Ping was only 155 centimeters tall, and she couldn't find a bone source until the last day, when she pulled back a stranger who died in a car accident from a nearby rural road, but his height was 170 centimeters. On the day of the bone replacement, Wang Ping was in excruciating pain, and her screams at night could be heard by half of the village. My brain CPU was about to burn out, so I pretended to be embarrassed and said, actually, that's not her father, it's her second uncle. Her father was quite tall, but unfortunately, he died early. Her second uncle didn't get married, and he always took good care of her and her mother, and gradually became the male owner of the family. So that's how it is. Songxing looked at Melon. After a narrow escape, we finally got home. My father hadn't returned to the village yet, and there were only my sister and my mother at home. My mother warmly welcomed Songxing into the house. My sister came out of the house and greeted Songxing. She was wearing a loose t-shirt and shorts, revealing 2 well-proportioned long legs. Songxing's eyes were straight. My mother asked us to chat for a while, and turned to the kitchen to prepare dinner. Songxing was full of interest in my sister, and talked to my sister without caring that I was next to her. My sister responded patiently, and was often amused by Songxing's humor. Songxing found a rope and performed magic tricks for my sister in various ways, taking the opportunity to create physical contact and take advantage of her. My sister didn't care about being molested, and even got closer and closer to Songxing, allowing Songxing to see the beauty under her collar. I understood my sister's intention. In our village, if someone wants to have a bone transplant, they will bring the original bone owner home the next day and submit a lawsuit against the original bone owner to the village chief. Human nature needs to be restrained. In order to prevent people from killing good people indiscriminately, the village chief and the review team will strictly check the bone transplant application. Even the special potion required for bone transplant is stored and managed by the village. However, those who have committed serious crimes are basically in prison and cannot fall into our hands. Therefore, we have to increase the severity of criminal trials against women and children. My sister is seducing Songxing, step by step towards crime. What does a mere appearance mean if it can be exchanged for being a healthy person for the rest of my life? And I finally saw clearly that Songxing is a completely wretched man. The last bit of attachment to him in my heart also vanished. I couldn't bear to watch it, so I took the initiative to help my mother in the kitchen. Finally, the meal was ready. I brought out a pot of bone soup and called Songxing to come over for dinner. When Songxing helped to serve the dishes, his sight was suddenly attracted by the window. Huh? I think I saw an acquaintance. Songxing was a little surprised. I'll be back soon. He put down the dishes in his hand and ran out. I looked at my mother and sister in surprise. How could Songxing have acquaintances in the village? We were planning to make him disappear here. My sister winked at me, and I hurriedly chased after him. Sorry, I recognized the wrong person. Songxing called a girl passing by, and found that she was not an acquaintance, and looked embarrassed. It doesn't matter. Xiaoju from the same village smiled friendly and turned away. Songxing watched Xiaoju's back blend into the night, with an expression of disbelief on his face. How can they be so similar? Songxing muttered. What's wrong? I came to Songxing's side. Songxing's expression was solemn. It's incredible, Jin, the girl just now, the back is exactly the same as my uncle. Even the walking posture is a bit similar. I asked curiously, your uncle? Songxing sighed, he has been missing for 3 years, and his daughter is only in junior high school. Poor my aunt and her daughter, they have been orphans and widows for these years. I remembered. The man Xiaoju changed his bones was a married man she hooked up with. Not only did the man abuse his wife for many years, but he also molested his daughter after his daughter went to junior high school. Xiaoju saw the little girl's request for help on the internet, took the initiative to approach the domestic violence man, and brought him back to the village to change. My mother served Songxing a full bowl of bone soup. Songxing drank until his mouth was full of oil and praised it highly. He didn't know that what he drank was the bone and blood soup specially made in our village. Before we change the bones, we need to let the original bone owner take bone and blood soup for 3 consecutive days to improve the adaptability of the bone source. In this way, after the bone change, we can minimize our rejection reaction to the new bones. Poor Sister Wang Ping, she used dead bones back then, and a series of complications occurred after the bone change. Until now, she needs someone to take care of her all the time and dare not leave the village easily. This soup is harmless to the body, and my mother added pepper to remove the fishy smell. We each served a bowl, and Songxing didn't doubt it at all. After the meal, chatting, Songxing took the initiative to lead the topic to my sister. Sister Xianxian is so beautiful, how can she not have a boyfriend? My sister sighed helplessly, most men have no sexual tension in my eyes, and I can't get interested. Songxing's appetite was immediately whetted. What type does sister like? My sister stared at Songxing's eyes, with a slight smile on her lips. I like men with true nature. Men should be lustful and chauvinistic. They should also be domineering. If anyone dares to look at his woman for a second longer, he will fight with them. He can have many affairs outside, but the person he loves most is me. My sister leaned her upper body towards Songxing and drew circles on his chest with her index finger. The worse the man, the more I want to conquer him. You, a good college student, should have a good talk with my sister. My sister, who had drunk, was even more charming. Before the meal, my sister was full of admiration for Songxing. Songxing must have thought that my sister had a good impression of him, but this sudden denial made him lose his composure. Songxing gritted his teeth, and a resolute look appeared on his face. Sister Xianxian, it's wrong to judge people by appearance. Songxing grabbed my sister's hand and pulled her towards him. How do you know that I'm not a bad man? You? My sister pulled her hand away and laughed. Then tell me, how bad are you? Songxing raised his glass and drank it all, and he told me all the dirty things he had done. When he was a child, he threw a kitten to death. In junior high school, he and his classmates beat up homeless people and robbed elementary school students. In high school, he installed a pinhole camera in the bedroom and secretly filmed the female tutor. He also secretly put some kind of slime that he was proud of into the female teacher's water cup and watched her drink it with his own eyes. I resisted the urge to vomit. My sister sneered and said contemptuously, "That's it?" Songxing's face turned pale. He looked at my sister like a hungry beast looking at a piece of tempting fat meat. His whole mind was thinking that he had to eat this piece of meat no matter what. Songxing looked fierce and launched an attack. Then let me tell you, just last year, I and a few brothers took turns to have sex with a woman. As soon as the voice fell, the air seemed to freeze for a few seconds. My sister and I both showed shocked expressions. My sister was the first to regain her composure on her face. It was a lie, right? If it was true, would you still be sitting here? Songxing sneered. At that time, a brother from my high school got married, and I went to be the best man. There was a bridesmaid sister on the bride's side. She looked coquettish and wore glasses. Several brothers couldn't control themselves when they were playing games. Later, it was my idea. We got her drunk together, took her to the hotel, and took turns to have sex. She didn't call the police? I asked in surprise. Songxing said proudly, she has no evidence, and calling the police is useless. And that idiot, I heard that the first thing she did after she realized what happened the next day was to take a shower. Ha 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 ha. I laughed to death. How can there be such a stupid woman in the world? Looking at Songsheng's wanton laughter, my heart was instantly filled with anger. The sister must have been very sad to have encountered such a thing, so she would have thought of taking a shower to wash away the disgusting memory, but Songsheng, the sinner, used this as a topic of conversation and smugly made fun of the victim. However, the anger in my heart was soon replaced by excitement. Because there were a total of 7 pinhole cameras in the corners of the furniture around us. They recorded Songsheng's confession clearly from all angles. The crime that Songsheng confessed was enough to make him a source of support for my sister. Songsheng, I didn't expect you to be this kind of person. I pretended to be angry and got up to go back to my room. Songsheng realized that he was outspoken. Seeing the regret flash across his face, my sister chuckled. It's okay. My sister listens to me very much. I will help you to guide her tonight. Songsheng heard this and teased, then I'll leave it to you, sister. You're so good to me. I really want to repay you if I have the chance. My sister forced a last smile, turned around and left, and came to my bedroom. Then, we worked together to sort out the bone replacement application materials. I'm going to have my mother send it to the village chief's house early tomorrow morning. Songsheng returned to the bedroom and couldn't calm down for a long time. He didn't expect that Sister Jingjin would be so easy to tease. And she didn't seem to mind that he was Jingjin's boyfriend at all. The taboo stimulation made his blood boil all night, and several times, he couldn't help but rush into the toilet to release it. Songsheng turned on his mobile phone and entered the secondary system. Click on the green bubble to join a chat group. Group members often share their hunting experiences and short videos in the group. Songsheng couldn't wait to show off his romantic encounter today. He posted a few photos of Xianxian secretly taken during the day, saying, I went back to my hometown with my girlfriend and prepared to take down her sister. Group friends came out one by one. Wow, this is the best. Oh my god, there are still such people in the mountains. Keep going, it's coming out soon. This is really good, remember to tag me when you upload the video. Fantasy? Secretly taking photos of people means she is interested in you? It's hilarious. I'm not saying, unless you are as handsome as me, you have no chance. Agree with the above, I suggest you stop this kind of stuff, you have to be tall, rich and handsome to have no chance. I didn't expect so many people to not believe in him, and Songsheng cursed in his heart. When I succeed, I will record a video and send it out, and let you kneel down and call me daddy. A night of spring dreams. When Songsheng woke up, it was just dawn. There was a sound of a door opening outside, and someone went out. Listening to the footsteps, it seemed to be Jingjin's mother. Jingjin went to sleep in her sister's room, so it was inconvenient to find them. The mobile network was not good, so Songsheng got up and urinated, then went outside and lit a cigarette. The morning fog was heavy, and it was white outside. Songsheng simply walked around. As he walked, he threw away the cigarette butt, looked back, and didn't know which direction he came from. A figure appeared in front of him. Through the fog, he couldn't tell whether it was a man or a woman. The strange thing was that the other party was obviously walking towards him, but he didn't get closer to him. Could it be a ghost? Songsheng thought. He quickened his pace and caught up. Now, Songsheng saw clearly. It was a woman, she was wearing a green top and a black skirt. Her face was very white, and her lips were painted scarlet. The weird thing was that the woman's upper body was facing backwards, but her lower body was facing forward. Her upper and lower body were in completely opposite directions. The woman suddenly turned her head and smiled at Songsheng. Songsheng was so scared that he peed and fell into the field, running away. He didn't know how long he ran before he dared to look back. The female ghost didn't catch up. However, the fog was still there, and there was no village house around. Songsheng was lost. He ran around like a headless fly and came to the door of an old temple. Songsheng wanted to go into the temple to worship, so as not to be entangled by the female ghost. He walked into the temple, raised his hand to wave away the lingering cigarettes, and saw the spirit tablets neatly arranged on the long table. It turned out to be an ancestral hall. Songxing was about to put his hands together to worship, but when he looked up, he saw that behind the spirit tablets, there was a pile of skulls. At this time, a woman's eerie laughter came from somewhere. Songxing's scalp exploded, and he turned around and ran. He screamed like a ghost, "Jean Jean! Jean Jean, where are you? There is a ghost here." When my sister and I got up, the morning fog had dissipated. As soon as I walked out of the bedroom, I heard Songxing running back from outside, yelling. His face was pale, and he spoke incoherently about his experience. I had a hard time holding back my laughter. The woman Songxing met was Sister Huang Ying, who often took me to pick birds and shrimps when I was a child. When she was changing her bones, I don't know what went wrong, and her upper body could actually rotate 180 degrees to her back. Every time the villagers brought back bad guys, she loved to scare the bad guys for fun. The skulls that Songxing saw were the 24 ancestors of our bone-changing women. My great-grandmother was also in it. As for the stories of the ancestors, let's put them aside for now. I thought that I was still angry with Songxing, and said unhappily, "If you don't do anything wrong, the female ghost won't look for you." At lunch, Songxing saw the bone soup and was a little confused. "Why do you drink this every day?" he asked my sister in a low voice. My sister smiled and said, "The mountain is full of energy, and beef bone soup can dispel cold and dampness, so drinking it will not cause ghosts." Songxing was skeptical, but he gulped down the soup. After lunch, the sound of gongs rang out in the village. The villagers came out of their homes one after another, walking in the same direction. My sister, my mother, and I could not hide the joy in our eyes. This was a signal for ancestor worship. It meant that my sister's bone replacement application was approved. "I have to go with you to worship the ancestors?" Songxing was puzzled. "Your ancestors are not my ancestors." I pinched his arm. "You are still not happy? If my sister didn't like you, would you have this opportunity?" "What?" Songxing looked at my sister in disbelief. I pretended to be wronged. "Didn't I tell you that my sister and I have always had the same vision? We have shared our favorite things with each other since we were young. Although this time is different, I figured it out after talking with my sister last night. My sister is the person closest to me. No matter what it is, I am willing to share it with her." I looked at Songxing with affection, and my eyes were wet. The day after tomorrow is my sister's 21st birthday. According to the custom in our village, before that day, a girl must choose a man she likes and complete the bathing ceremony with him on the eve of her birthday. Songxing's eyes widened. "Bath together?" My sister looked cold and said in an unhappy tone, "If you don't want to, I won't force you." Songxing was so happy that his tongue was tied. "Yes, yes. I am willing." When we arrived at the ancestral hall, Songxing realized that what we were worshipping were the 24 skulls. The village chief burned Songxing's indictment in front of the ancestral tablets. My sister kowtowed to the ancestors and silently recited the oath. "Take the bones of the sinners and do good to the living. Never betray the tribe and always keep the secrets of the bone-changing tribe." Songxing looked at us worshipping the skulls and felt an indescribable strangeness in his heart. In the morning, he thought he had encountered a ghost, but he didn't expect that this ancestral hall was real. Then, he found the female ghost he met in the morning in the crowd. Songxing pulled my sleeve, his teeth chattering with fear. "Jean Jean, that female ghost is here too." I was too lazy to explain, so I glared at him and told him to be quiet. The village chief walked over to Songxing. He handed the cup to Songxing and asked him to go forward and ask the ancestors for their opinions in person. "Go. See if the ancestors approve of you," my sister encouraged. Songxing looked at the skull, the female ghost, and my sister. Fear and lust intertwined, messing up his mind. He came to the ancestral tablet in a daze and knelt down, holding the cup tightly in his hands. After praying silently, he threw it on the ground. "One yin and one yang, it is a holy jiao." There was a wave of applause in the ancestral hall. Songxing was also very happy. After offering sacrifices to the ancestors, a huge bathtub was sent to my house by the villagers. Also sent were buckets of special medicine for bone replacement. Upon learning that Song Xing had successfully passed the certification, my father immediately rushed home. When he saw Song Xing, he touched his arms and legs up and down. "What a physique, young man." My dad was more and more satisfied as he touched. Song Xing asked in confusion, "Uncle, are you a Chinese medicine doctor?" My dad smiled but said nothing. That night, our family fell asleep in a tense mood. Only Song Xing was itchy and had no intention of sleeping at all. He opened the chat group and shared his latest progress. "Tomorrow I will take a bath with my girlfriend's sister, and there will be a big fight at night. Self-shot short video 10 yuan, early bird discount 8 yuan, limited places, first come first served." He curled up in the quilt, smiling and waiting for the reactions of the group friends. "Yo, it's you again? It turns out that you are a porn seller, writing a script here. You can cheat your brothers, but don't cheat yourself, be careful of starting from 3 years. Swindlers, die first. It's not fake, I stand upside down and eat shit." Song Xing was not angry at all this time, he just thought, "Let's see how I will slap you in the face tomorrow night." At this time, the group leader suddenly spoke and tagged Song Xing. "Group leader, this group does not welcome scammers. Please send photos or videos of intimate contact with the heroine within 10 minutes, and add the designated gestures of this group, otherwise you will be given a plane ticket." Song Xing was anxious. This group is usually his first choice for relieving loneliness, and he doesn't want to be kicked out. Song Xing got up from the bed and hesitated for 2 minutes. "Anyway, Xian likes me, she will be mine sooner or later," he thought. "As long as I am a little tougher, she will definitely give in half-heartedly, so why wait until tomorrow night?" Song Xing immediately said in the group, "Okay, you wait." Everyone in the room was asleep, and Song Xing came to my sister's bedroom quietly. The door was locked, but there were no anti-theft nets on the windows here. Song Xing climbed into my sister's bedroom, through the window. He held his phone in one hand, and a group live broadcast was being broadcast on the screen. "Oh my god, live broadcast, so exciting." The picture is blurry and stuck, but it is better than all the 4K and censored high definition I have seen. Song Xing came to the bedside and pointed the camera at my sister's face. "Oh my god, so beautiful. Goddess level. Brother Xing is awesome. 66,666, 3 years of blood profit." Brother Xing sent the address, and the veteran who won the 3rd place in the imperial examination for 10 years requested to join the war. When Song Xing saw my sister's sleeping face, all the blood in his body rushed to his forehead. He reached out to unbutton my sister's clothes, and my sister woke up with a start. Song Xing was startled and quickly covered my sister's mouth. My sister struggled, but the force was unexpectedly small. Song Xing was stunned for a moment and smiled. He leaned close to my sister's ear and whispered, "You didn't use any strength at all, bitch, are you playing coy with me?" Song Xing arched his mouth to kiss my sister. My sister whimpered and pushed his face away with her hands. Song Xing grabbed my sister's hand and pressed it hard to the side. Suddenly, he heard a few crisp Weibo sounds. A strange touch came from his palm. Song Xing turned his head and saw that his scalp was numb instantly. My sister's hand, which was held by him, became like a thick rubber glove, soft, and was held in his hand. It was like there were no bones. He wanted to confirm what was going on in disbelief, and pinched my sister's arm. The bones in my sister's arm quickly dissolved, and a strange smell emanated from deep in the pores. Song Xing screamed. My sister took the opportunity to kneel Song Xing, and Song Xing rolled off the bed. My sister immediately shouted, "Dad! Mom!" My sister only wanted to catch Song Xing, but she found that her legs were no longer able to move. She rolled over and rolled off the bed, crawling towards Song Xing with disheveled hair. In the pale night, my sister was like a female ghost. Song Xing was frightened and escaped through the window. My dad woke up first after hearing the noise. When he rushed over, Songxing was trying to open the door and escape. The door was locked. My dad hugged Songxing from behind, and Songxing struggled to break free and pushed my dad down. Songxing climbed up the wall, and my mom ran over and hugged Songxing's feet tightly. Songxing kicked my mom to the ground with a few kicks, but he also fell off the wall. I rushed over and picked up the shoulder pole by the wall. Before Songxing got up, I hit him hard on the back. My dad and mom rushed over in time and pressed Songxing to the ground. I found a rope, and the three of us tied Songxing up together. Songxing shouted for help, and I stuffed his mouth with a towel, although, even if someone heard it, they would not come to help. We threw Songxing into the woodshed and hurried to see my sister. Under the violent injury, my sister's bones dissolved prematurely. We immediately began to prepare to replace my sister's bones. My parents poured the special medicine into the bathtub. I cooked the bone and blood soup and went to the woodshed to force Songxing to drink it. However, where Songxing was, there was only a bundle of loose ropes. He ran away. I forgot that Songxing was proficient in rope magic, and we didn't notice when he changed the knot into a slip knot. I turned my head and shouted, "He ran away." The moon was covered by dark clouds, and there were dark mountains all around. Songxing left my house and fled in panic. Soon, the sound of pursuit was everywhere. Songxing didn't want to expose his movements, so he hid in a cornfield nearby. "Call the police." With only a little battery left on his phone, he called the police. But the call was hung up the second before it was connected. No way. Songxing thought of the ancestral worship ceremony in the ancestral hall and the villagers searching for him in the distance. The people in this village are all in collusion. If he called the police, it would most likely be received by the police station in the village. If even the local police are their people, then they are just sheep in the tiger's mouth. Songxing hurriedly opened the group chat just now. "There is a monster here. Help me call the police. Save me." Songxing trembled and opened the location, wanting to send the location, but few of the group members saw Songxing's words, and they all cursed him for the live broadcast just now. I was scared to death, dead liar. Where did the ghost movie actor come from? I was scared to death. I took off my pants, I was scared to death. Sima thing, you will be impotent for the rest of your life. Group owner, kick this Sima thing quickly. Songxing sent the location and typed hurriedly, swearing that he was really in danger. But he saw that the location failed to send. There was a line of gray words on it, "You have been removed from the group chat by the group owner." Songxing wanted to cry but had no tears. "There is a light over there." A loud shout suddenly came from a distance. Songxing quickly turned off his cell phone and fled. Songxing successfully got rid of the villagers who were chasing him. He came to the side of the road. But it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and there was no car on the road. Songxing took out his cell phone, but found that it was out of power and turned off. Just when he was desperate, a beam of light cut through the darkness. In the distance, a car came. Songxing hid calmly, and he did not run out immediately. He was worried that it was a villager's car. Songxing found a few sharp stones on the ground and threw them hard on the road. The driver really saw the thrown objects and the car slowed down. What surprised Songxing even more was that it was a police car. Looking at the license plate, it was not a local car. Songxing rushed out and stopped in front of the police car, raising his arms and shouting, "Help! Help!" 2 criminal policemen, one old and one young, got off the car vigilantly. Both of them pulled out their guns and shouted to Songxing to hold his head and squat down. After confirming that Songxing was not a threat, the police asked Songxing why he was asking for help. Songxing spoke incoherently for nearly 20 minutes before he could explain what happened clearly. "You said they wanted to kidnap you, but from what I heard, it was more like you wanted to violate someone, so they wanted to catch you," the old detective asked. He was worried that it was a villager's car. Songxing found a few sharp stones on the ground and threw them hard on the road. The driver really saw the thrown objects and slowed down the car. What surprised Songxing even more was that it was a police car. Looking at the license plate, it was not a local car. Songxing rushed out and stopped in front of the police car, raising his arms and shouting, "Help! Help!" Two detectives, one old and one young, got off the car vigilantly. Both of them pulled out their guns and shouted to Songxing to hold his head and squat down. After confirming that Songxing was not a threat, the police asked Songxing why he was asking for help. Songxing spoke incoherently for nearly 20 minutes before he could explain what happened clearly. "You said they wanted to kidnap you, but from what I heard, it seems more like you wanted to violate someone, so they wanted to catch you," asked the old detective. The young detective also said, "If they wanted to kidnap you, why did they treat you well for 2 days without doing anything? It's even more ridiculous that the bones suddenly disappeared. You should go with us to the nearby police station for a urine test." "Really? I didn't take drugs. Believe me. The people in this village are weird." Songxing tried to defend himself. The old detective said helplessly, "Okay, then take us to see the boneless woman." Songxing and two detectives walked into the police car. At this time a beam of flashlight light swayed from the woods. Someone came over. "He is an outsider and is not familiar with our village. Let me lead the way, comrades." It was a policeman from the nearby police station, Xiaoliuzi. "My sister and I have called him Uncle Lu since we were young." 40 minutes later, Uncle Six led 2 criminal policemen and Songxing to my door. A group of villagers followed behind him to watch the excitement. The village has always been peaceful. Apart from me, they have never seen a policeman. The villagers are curious and hope to understand. Uncle Six explained to the 2 criminal policemen with a smile. "This is the house." After Songxing pointed it out, the old criminal policeman went forward and knocked on the door. A few minutes later, my father opened the door sleepily. "Xiao Song? Aren't you sleeping in the house? Why did you bring the police?" My father looked surprised. "Xiaoliuzi, these 2 are." Uncle Six explained to my father that they were criminal policemen passing by and happened to meet Songxing. "Xiao Song is my youngest daughter's boyfriend. He has been living in my house for the past 2 days." "What happened?" my father asked. The old criminal policeman briefly repeated Songxing's words and asked to see my sister. The faces of the villagers became nervous. When everyone helped to catch Songxing, they all heard that Songxing saw my sister's bones disappear. My dad asked the 2 detectives to wait. He turned around and whispered a name into the house. A figure walked out and came to my dad. The villagers were all surprised. The person who came out was my dad's eldest daughter, Xianxian. Songxing was speechless when he saw that my sister looked no different from ordinary people. "2 police uncles, what's the matter?" "Oh, sorry, this is the police brother." Under the hazy moonlight, my sister's eyes were blank, like a beautiful and innocent little deer. The young policeman blushed instantly. The old detective looked back at Songxing. Songxing hid behind the old detective and pointed at my sister. "I just touched her hand, and it clearly had no bones. She must be a monster." "I know, it's a skin corpse." "She is a skin corpse." My sister was a little scared. "I was sleeping alone in the room just now." "When did you enter my room?" "You are my sister's boyfriend, what do you want to do?" My father sighed and said to the police, "This young man came back with my youngest daughter for less than a day, and he actually expressed his love to my eldest daughter." My eldest daughter naturally disagreed. My youngest daughter broke up with him, and his mental state began to become very unstable. Songxing was still trying to refute. "What about bathing together, throwing cups and dice, and there were many skulls in our ancestral hall," all of which he shook out to the detective. He saw Huang Ying in the crowd and hurriedly pointed at her and said, "That woman, she is also a monster. Her upper body can be twisted behind her back." Huang Ying performed a waistbend in public. "Are you referring to this?" The villagers laughed. Seeing the 2 criminal police officers looking embarrassed, Uncle Six said in a businesslike manner, "Let our police station handle this young man. You 2 comrades have been busy, do you want us to host you for a night?" The old criminal police officer waved his hand and said it was no trouble. The two criminal police officers turned and left. Songxing wanted to follow them, but my sister came behind him without knowing when. He heard a click sound behind him, and a sharp pain pierced his body like a sword, and he was instantly unable to move. Before Songxing fell, my father and Huang Ying's father held Songxing. Uncle Six sent the two criminal police officers away. Songxing didn't know what happened yet, but he couldn't move, and his throat couldn't make any sound. The girls in our village, after learning to walk at the age of 5, have to start learning to touch and disassemble bones. Just now, my sister quickly and accurately pushed the third vertebra of Songxing's cervical vertebra inward, causing it to be dislocated. The severe pain was enough to cause Songxing to fall into temporary paralysis and loss of voice. After the criminal police left, my dad thanked everyone. "I'm sorry for causing trouble to everyone, go back." Someone asked curiously, "Xian, whose bones did you replace?" My sister lowered her eyes and replied, "Jin's." I never thought that the person who would bathe with my sister would become me. The villagers who were chasing Songxing saw Songxing meet the police from other places and notified the village chief and my dad immediately. Although Songxing's experience was a fantasy, if these two policemen came to investigate, the village's secrets for many years might be lost. In any case, they couldn't see my sister without bones. However, there was no other bone source in the village to replace my sister's bones. I thought of a way. Use my bones. I am 19 years old this year, and my bones still have 2 years of life. When the villagers notified my dad that Uncle Six was bringing the criminal police over, we knew that there was no other choice. My mother, Huang Ying, and Xiao Ju put my sister, who was unable to move, into the bathtub. Then, I also undressed and took a bath. My sister and I were soaking in the tub, speechless for a moment. The last time my sister and I took a bath together was when we were about 4 or 5 years old. When we were both old enough to play with water. Even though my sister's bones were dissolving, she was still stunningly beautiful. Seeing the sharp scalpel cut a hole in my chest, my sister's eyes turned red. Jin, it hurts." I shook my head. My mother, Wang Ping, and Huang Ying quickly removed my bones one by one and put them into my sister's body. As soon as my sister's chest was sewn up, the old criminal police knocked on the door outside. Songxing was brought to me. Seeing me soaking in a tub full of crimson potion, with my boneless body half floating on the water, his expression was uglier than seeing a ghost. My mother fed Songxing the last bowl of bone blood soup. Then, she, my sister, Xiaoju, and Huang Ying stripped Songxing naked and put him in the tub. I smiled. "You didn't expect that the person you would bathe with was me, Songxing. Do you still remember that when I agreed to date you, one of the conditions was that you quit the school basketball team? At that time, I said that I was afraid that you would get hurt. Now, do you understand my concerns?" Songxing finally realized his usefulness. He was still paralyzed, but he could finally make a sound. He cried and begged for mercy. Jin, I was wrong, Jin, please let me go. I will go out and find a more suitable person for you, please don't kill me." I had no expression on my face. "Give up, Songxing, even if I don't kill you, there are still many people in the village who want to break your bones. You have missed the only chance to escape, what a pity." Songxing begged for mercy for a while, and seeing that I was indifferent, he became vicious. "So you brought me back on purpose, you bitch. You will die a miserable death. And you. My dad will definitely avenge me, he will definitely find this place and kill you all." My sister patted Songxing's head. "Your dad is also guilty of teaching a rapist like you. Welcome your dad to deliver the goods." At my nod, my sister used a scalpel to cut open Songxing's chest. After completing the bone replacement, I rested at home for 7 days. I grew 5 centimeters taller than before, and my shoulders became much wider. I am afraid that I can't wear the skirts I used before, which is really annoying. There are always more men who commit crimes than women, and we are helpless. Songxing's family reported the missing case, and the police found our village. The whole village said that Songxing was mentally ill and ran into the mountains and disappeared. If they insisted on going into the mountains to look for him, they might find Songxing's clothes and hair. And because of the significant changes in my figure, I had to apply for a leave of absence from school. I have to continue looking for new bone sources for my sister in the next 2 years. I can't go to school to kidnap college students. Before leaving home, I have one more thing to do. I put Songxing's skull into my backpack and came to the back of the ancestral hall alone. Unexpectedly, I met the old detective here that day. You scared me when you came over. The old detective smoked a cigarette. I thought it was the missing Xiaosong. I couldn't help but get nervous and tightened the shoulder straps of my backpack. I heard from my sixth uncle that the old detective was responsible for some seemingly related missing cases. He appeared in our village in plain clothes, and his purpose was not simple. Xiaosong said that you worship the skull, and it's true. The old detective's eyes were unfathomable. What secrets are hidden in your village? I looked into the old detective's eyes. I was thinking, if he knew our secret, would he keep it secret? This secret is about the women in our village. About why our bones dissolve at the age of 21. I smiled slightly, and the wind blew my hair. Are you ready to accept the truth? It was a time of war. Enemies were burning, killing, and looting everywhere. The war reached our village, and our ancestors were discovered by the enemy on the way to escape. They killed all the men, old people, and children who did not escape. They also took away more than 100 young girls. The girls were taken to the enemy's camp for their soldiers to vent their beastly desires. At that time, in order to prevent and treat syphilis, the enemy would inject a drug called arsenic 606 into the captured girls. This drug has many side effects that are not good for the body, including inhibiting the growth of bone marrow. There was an officer in the military camp where the girls were located who was a doctor. He was slightly dissatisfied when he saw that the girls he captured were pale and thin. He arbitrarily modified arsenic 606 to make its side effect of damaging bones more potent. Not only did the girls' bodies become softer, but they also had less power to resist. However, when these girls who were injected with the modified drug reached the age of 21, their bones would dissolve. Except for their skulls, all their bones disappeared. They eventually became paralyzed and died miserably soon after. However, people died every day in the war, and the officers easily covered up this secret. Later, the war ended. Only 24 of the more than 100 girls who were captured survived. They returned to the village. They had witnessed the tragic deaths of their sisters, and they waited for their 21st birthday in fear every day. They tried to seek medical treatment, but all doctors were helpless. The frustrated girls suddenly decided one day to try their best. During the trial, half of the girls died. Finally one day, they discovered the secret of bone replacement. This was an operation that only their bodies could accept. But what they didn't expect was that the pain caused by the devil did not end on them. Even the female offspring they gave birth to had the same disease. The girls in our village could only learn to walk at the age of 5. At the age of 21, you need to change your bones. Otherwise, you will be paralyzed and eventually die as a pile of rotten meat. My mother told me this story when I was 5 years old. Xianxian, Jin, our ancestors were very brave, and you must have the courage to grow up. Mom said to me and my sister. Perhaps, some people would say that freaks like us should not be born. However, my great-grandmother said, in the enemy's camp, I endured the torture of the devil every day. At that time, I felt that I was not a person, but a pitiful piece of breathing meat. Now, I can be a human again. I hope that my descendants will cherish the opportunity to be a human being. Cherish the opportunity to be a human being, this is the teaching of our ancestors. And some people in the world not only do not cherish this opportunity, but also deprive others of their opportunities. So, we swallow the secrets and cover up the scars. Swear to remove all the sinful bones in this world. I didn't tell the old detective this story in the end. I turned to leave, but he called me to stop. What's that round thing in your backpack? His eyes were as sharp as an eagle. I looked down at the backpack and reached out to touch the bulging part. It was exactly the size of a human head, so it's no wonder he noticed it. Besides, I was holding a short shovel in my hand. I almost forgot. I smiled and opened the backpack. I took out a sapling. I tore open the black bag under the roots of the tree, and it was a round lump of cultivation soil. It's a 21st birthday gift for my sister. She was too lazy to go out, so she asked me to help her plant it near the ancestral hall. After I explained, I came to the ancestral hall, dug a hole, and planted the sapling. A few days ago, I was at a loss as to how to deal with Songxing's skull. So I clicked on the avatar of a girl in the address book and sent a message. I accidentally picked up Songxing's skull, what do you want me to do with it? She didn't reply. I had no choice but to find a random place to bury Songxing's skull. But before I left, I received a reply from the girl, give it to me to plant succulents. So, I took Songxing's skull out of my backpack. I stepped on the soil around the saplings tightly. I picked up the shovel and backpack and waved to the old detective. Goodbye, police uncle. I strode away, thinking about the plan I discussed with Sister Xiaoju and Sister Huangying yesterday. The plan discussed by Sister Huangying. We want to open a small shop in the city, mainly engaged in massage and bone setting. I wonder how it works. The end.